Welcome to Malcolm and We. And of course, I'm Malcolm, and part of the we is my co-host, Yana Larson. Hey, Yana. And we are heard exclusively on malcolmpresents.com, which is a streaming portal to the exciting world of webcasting, of actually Zoom casting. And this is our second show. And Yana, tell us a little about We to introduce the people. What is We exactly?
Well,
Oh, we the world.
We the World is a social change agency um, to make the world take the world from me to we, and to be for the it to be a world that everyone wants to be a part of, and everyone has a great life.
Hmm. Good. By the way, is your microphone on? You're a little low.
It is on. Is that better?
A little better, yeah.
Okay.
And who do we have? We have a guest today, and can you
Yeah.
introduce him before we bring him on?
Right. We're gonna have Callum is my colleague at We the World, and Callum Cintron, and he's he's amazing. He just has so many skills, and he's the coordinator of our human rights campaign. And he's the director of his new diversity, equity, and inclusion campaign, and he's also our COO, coordinator of
He's your
operations.
coup.
Hmm?
He's your coup
Yeah,
COO.
that's right.
Okay, well, with not much ado, let's introduce. Let's bring him on. And yeah, there he is.
There's Callum. Hey, Callum.
Hey, Callum, can you hear us? No, Callum's
Yes, I can. Can you guys
okay.
hear me?
And Callum is currently in New Mexico attending a workshop. And I forget exactly what it's a workshop about, but part of getting towards graduation, I assume.
Yeah. Pick there. That's good. Pick the light up a little bit, Callum. Well, welcome to the wonderful world of Zooming.
Yeah, sorry, I'm in my hotel room. They're
Ah,
also doing our conference and filming for a TV show or something on the lower level, and we have to basically be silent, so I couldn't do this down there where it
ah.
looks much nicer.
And this is Callum's first time out of New Jersey and Pennsylvania, first time on an airplane um, since he was a baby and doesn't remember anything about it. And now he's in are you in Albuquerque?
Yep.
And
But tell us a little about yourself and what you do with We and how you got involved and why.
he
Yep.
basically does everything. But
Yeah, so I am Callum, and around end of April, beginning of May 2020, I started looking for volunteer opportunities. I had not realized there were those opportunities, but with COVID going on, obviously the whole world went virtual. Um, and We was one of the first ones I found, and reading about their mission about really moving from I to we, in all aspects of life and trying to get away from us versus them really spoke to me and what I believe in. So I hopped on a group meeting, and from there I became the human rights coordinator pretty quick. And then a couple months later, I took over the 11 Days of Global Unity event with Jana to run that. Became part of the admin team. And from there, I went to HR stuff and now doing director of operations work.
What do you do in your spare time?
I don't have spare time, but
I
all
know
my
it's a joke.
yeah, all my other time is I still go to school. I'm finishing up my last term. The organization I am here with, I am at the Partnership for National Trails workshop. I volunteer with them. I was part of the host committee to help set this event up, part of their diversity, equity, inclusion committee. I'm a second year trail apprentice and doing peer leader for that. Let's see. I'm also on a diversity and inclusion team for a climate lobby organization, and I volunteer with MN350 for their pipeline resistance and missing and murdered Indigenous relatives teams.
Yeah, I think individually you are we. You're separated in so many categories.
And
What is your
nothing,
major? What is your
Malcolm,
major in college?
nothing ruffles Callum. He's just like, I can take care of that.
What is your major in college?
Officially, I will get a degree in anthropology, but I also have about a major's worth of credits in natural resources.
Uh-huh. And I ask this question to everybody, no matter what age. I asked it for young. What do you want to be when you grow up?
I think broadly, I would like to obviously conserve natural and cultural resources, work with indigenous communities, um, stuff like the workshop I'm at today, working with trails, diversifying the outdoors. I don't know if I really have a specific job. I think my dream job would be, those people you see online that get to like hang out with lions and like up close and like rub their bellies and stuff. That would be the dream.
Oh,
Um,
really? Have you ever done
I,
that with the natural wildlife?
I have not. I usually try to keep my distance, let wildlife do its thing. But pretty much anything at the intersection of culture and environment and kind of moving those areas forward.
He has a pet snake named Scooter.
Mhm.
Very, very ambitious. How do you find working with we the world?
I think it's been great. I believe that all of my opportunities since starting with we have because of we because of Rick, Jenna, and Angel. I don't think the skills that I've learned, not just work wise but interpersonal wise, I would have without we the world. And I think it really has helped me get more internships, other volunteer experiences, job interviews, leadership positions, that I definitely would not have ever had the opportunity um to get if I wasn't part of We the World.
Now, let's say we're out asking donors, which we are, by the way. What is the website we can give donations?
We.net/donate.
Okay, because again, this is going to be an ongoing show. Hopefully, we the world is going to be a half hour each week with a different aspect. And if you have something to contribute, you have something to say, we could have you on for a segment anytime that you want. Actually, just contact Yana. Or if you have any suggestions of how you think we could best use this show as a communications vehicle, let us know. Now, let's say you were speaking to a donor, someone who had lots of money.
Mm.
How would you convince them to donate to we? I mean, we the world. Why should they? What are they doing for the world?
Yep. I think of course building the relationship first and actually talking to them as a human and not as a piggy bank who's just going to give me money. I'm working to build that long-term relationship. But the why, I think, pardon me, it's very dry here in New Mexico compared to where I live in New Jersey. Um, but I think the why is um the passion behind the team, not only the core team of the admins, and some of the US people, but we have a large group of um, which is We Change Agent Network, people in Africa who are doing awesome work, and just that they're donating to a passionate team that lives by the mission. we take our mission very seriously in all aspects of our work. It's that we're definitely not just all talk and no action. We do what we say we're gonna do. Um, and if you're donating to the future, and the next generation, and making sure that we can have a better future than we've ever had in our society, not just American society, but all over the world.
Yeah,
And
I think what we do is to make sure that we do have a future. That's the yeah. That's the thing that I'm working for, because right now I'm sort of pessimistic on things that are happening, and I'm very encouraged. I'm very encouraged by people like yourself and Ayana and Rick and Angel, that they are still working so passionately to save our planet. And I think and actually I'm one of the believers. I think we're going to destroy ourselves.
well, that is true, and that's what it seems like when you watch the news and everything. There is a lot of gloom and doom, but there is also a lot of good. There's a lot of good action happening, and a lot of really passionate people who do with very little and make a lot of progress. And that's what I think is exciting. Um, because we all do truly care, and we're not Pollyannas about it. I mean, we are smart, we're educated, we see what the problems are, but being all gloomy and doomy about it is never going to get anyone inspired to action. And the truth is that it begins with one person can do a lot. Callum is a perfect example. Callum was one young person who has done an incredible amount of positive action with not much, and just is able to add everything in and make a difference. And then it's inspiring, working with Callum and Angel and all the other people that it's my reason for getting up in the morning. I truly do want world peace. You know, I want everyone to have a good life. And I always think, if I didn't have something like this to work with and for, I don't know what I do. Because when I was looking to join I was looking for a movement. And I mean, something that was more than just a nonprofit organization, a big movement. And then I saw Rick Ulvik, our leader, hosting one of the days of 11 days of global unity, and I was so inspired. And I'm not the type that just inspired to action after one exposure. I have to think about it. But it was amazing, and it's a movement of movements, because just like Callum has a varied palette of interests, so do I, and we're able to combine it all to make it work. And it's just so creative. There's no like, this is how you will do it. We're more like, oh, what ideas do you have? Let's see how we can make it work.
Yeah.
How many places
Well,
can you be like, work for something like that?
yeah. I call myself a pragmatist. I like people. I like sometimes working in the ethereal world and talking about theories and talking about, what should be. But I like people who can, roll up their sleeves and do it. And it seems you guys are rolling up your sleeves and doing it. And that's what I admire you about it. And of
I
course,
don't have sleeves left.
well, yeah, but you have beautiful arms, so it's perfect. But again, I like people. It's not tell me, show me. What, Callum? What practical things have you been involved with? That you could tell us that have benefited certain groups, or that you're working towards right now. I'm sorry to put you on the spot. I know I haven't prepared you for it, but this is totally
I told him
an unscripted show.
free for all conversation, nothing scripted. So give
Right.
me.
It's an unscripted show. So I didn't even know what I was going to ask you. I don't have a list of things.
Nope.
But as things
Yep,
come up, it comes up to my mind. So again, pardon me for putting you on the spot, but if you could tell us, it would be great.
yep. So I work with MN 350, like I mentioned, as a volunteer. I do virtually, obviously, since I'm in New Jersey and they are in Minnesota. Um, but one thing I've started with the Missing Indigenous Relatives team is helping with their communications. And for Indigenous Peoples Day, I made some posts. One that was about the history of basically Christopher Columbus and all the atrocities he created and what it's still causing today. Um, Indigenous women and girls are have a murder rate 10 times higher than the rest of the country. Men are affected too, of course, in all genders, two-spirit, LGBTQ plus. Um, but that post, and then I also had a post of something I like to do is I think it's important to acknowledge the history, acknowledge the harms, but acknowledge the positives that the communities have. Especially a lot of people in all these communities are making big differences. Um, so some of those things I did kind of like big news of the year. Um, Three indigenous folks got their charges dropped, their line three pipeline charges dropped in the White Earth Tribal Court. So that's an example of one of the posts. But that was the first post was one of their most like posts ever in the history of their social media, which was awesome that so many people engaged with it and hopefully didn't just like it and actually read all the posts and learned a little bit more. Um, but just trying to educate people when I can. I try to work diversity, equity, inclusion, and justice into all aspects of my life. So right now at the workshop, something simple I'm doing is just um, writing down some accessibility and inclusion things we can improve for next year in my notebook. And it can always just be little things like that. Just writing that down and emailing the person who's running the workshop. Um, Holding events is possible too. There's a lot of, if you want to hold events and do more groundwork, but you don't quite know where to start, there are a lot of organizations that will have days of action that you can get involved in. So they'll pretty much give you the toolkit, they'll give you training, and you can just then create something in your area. So kind of you can always work your way up to more, and you can always do something. But always make sure you're taking care of yourself. Check in with your own capacity. Self care is community care. So if you're not taking care of yourself, you're not going to be able to take care of your community.
Definitely.
And
Do you ever go on locations there to see these people or go into the communities?
I'm hoping now that I know that I can travel. So I have a disability. I have dysautonomia and POTS, which basically means my whole nervous system does not do anything it's supposed to do. So for since about 2018 until early 2020, I was basically homebound all the time.
Mm,
Couldn't drive, couldn't do anything. Finally got a diagnosis. It's something that gets missed. The average time to diagnosis is usually between like 7 and 9 years before someone actually gets diagnosed. So I've been on medicine, lifestyle changes, and that has really helped. So I'm really hoping to get on site. I actually just extended my stay in New Mexico. I am staying 2 extra days to be able to explore the culture more. Tomorrow I'm going to a American, not American, Native American Heritage Month. The city of Albuquerque is having a full day, 12-hour celebration, actually right across the street, which is very convenient. But then I want to go up and I want to see the view from my room. I'm on the 17th floor, gorgeous mountains. I want to go explore the wild areas around here. Last night, I was able to go to the New Mexico Transgender Resource Center. We don't have anything like that where I live in New Jersey. I went to one of their support meetings to check it out. Um, so I think hopefully in the future to be able to travel more I'm looking to move too once I graduate. Of course, need a job to survive. But once that happens, I am definitely looking to move out of New Jersey. Since I am an anthropology major, I also happen to just in general love culture. So exploring and being able to learn about more cultures is really important to me before actually engaging with those communities. Not only general things about them, but the history they've gone to and the connection to our institutions and systems. What contemporary issues are going on, what they've already said they need, what's missing, who's not hearing them, um, and then getting to work with them if they so choose to have any
Good.
help or support.
Callum, as you know, this is a new show and it's a growing show, and I'm just taking ideas of what we could do. But with your speaking, I just gave you a new job. You're now associate producer. So what you can do is as in that capacity, if you take videos of the things, the events, we can include those in future shows. Or if you want to interview people, all you need is a cell phone, and you could interview wherever you are and speak to the people themselves, and do the interview or take your desktop. It's it's one the Zoom. This concept is wonderful because the no limitations. I don't have to send a camera crew out. All you have to do is do on your cell phone and do the interview, and then we could have our editor put it back, and we have a very capable editor. Thanks to Yana, we have a group of people who are also volunteers that help put together the show, and we have a young lady in Venezuela, Aramel, who basically is our film editor and puts together the show after I give it to her. So, if you take any tapes, if you take any cell phone pictures, or if you want to do any interviews, we can insert them into the show. But again, you tell us as my associate producer if you accept it. You don't have to.
Yeah,
Okay.
definitely. I can actually be your video crew because I do have a Canon camera.
Oh,
One of the things I am doing for the workshop, I'm definitely no pro. Because I was homebound, I ended up getting a camera in 20 or late 2018, early 2019, and then I was homebound, couldn't take pictures or anything, and was really missing it. And I reached out to my superior here, and I'm actually taking photographs for the whole conference. So I've been doing that for the last, I don't know what day we're on at this point, day three, I think. Um, but yeah, I've been doing that. So yeah, I can always do that. That's kind of one of the things in anthropology. It's called ethnographic research, which is basically you get your butt out there and actually do something. You don't
right.
just sit in your office doing research. You go out there, you participate. One of the big things is learning the language of if they do not speak English. So say that if you're in the United States and you're gonna talk to an indigenous community, learn the language. If you're going to Africa, learn Swahili, another language, that kind of stuff. But our weekend people also send us really great photos of the work they're doing in Africa. So we can always put that into something too, because all of them are doing really awesome work, tree planting, building houses. Um, Angelina goes and talks to leaders. She goes to marches. She goes to climate conferences.
COP26,
Yeah,
Glasgow.
we are only limited by our imagination. Now that we are completely mobile, as like I say, you're in New Mexico, Yana is in Ohio, I'm in California, and we can all get together at the same time, and we can get many people on. So we could do like interviews with people that you might have, or put segments on. I'm very excited about this because
Well,
we're not limited.
and Callum is perfect because, as you can tell, he's very energetic and very creative and very roll up his sleeves. But because of Callum, we now have a very strong LGBTQ group that we didn't have before, which I really wanted to have happen, and there was Callum. It's just
Uh,
like what I want, it comes.
well, this is me personally, I guess, since I'm very curious. Callum, what is the derivation of that name? Is there an ethnic tie-in to it, or it just your parents like Callum?
I actually picked the name myself, so I am transmasculine. I was born female. I've transitioned to transmasculine.
Ah,
Um, I had to pick. I didn't have to pick a name, but picking a name, probably the most stressful thing. I can't even name my pets. Gives me too much stress to name things. I literally just went to baby names websites and kept going through and made a list of ones that sounded cool. And went off of that. But yeah, so I kind of just found it through babies' names, and I was like, works for me, good enough.
okay.
So went with that.
Then this is my question. By the way, I might, if you would be interested, I have a show also on Malcolm Presents called Up Close and Personal, where I interview people. I don't know if you would be adverse to be interviewed on the show talking about your personal life. Yeah, not necessarily about we the world, but Callum, who he is and how he got there. Because again, I'm just very curious to find out details of everything because it's to me this is obviously a new world to me. I've had I know people they're transsexuals and things, but I've really never really spoken to them.
Mhm. Yeah,
So
And they're perfectly wonderful people.
yeah, no, I know you don't have to tell me now, but consider it. Again, I don't want
yeah,
to put you on the spot.
yeah, I'd definitely be happy. Yeah, I definitely work with a lot of older people, usually 50 plus. Um,
You got
so
me.
yeah, I do a lot of education on LGBTQ plus things, some disabled things, and thankfully, almost overall, it has been good reception of what I talk about if they ask questions and stuff. Um, and I just think we're starting to move towards a society who, even if people don't get it, they are willing to listen and try to understand and ask questions to get it. And sometimes people's brains just can't comprehend, and that happens. I think it's the same as math. I don't know about you, but math is math.
Yeah,
Sometimes you
I
just
agree.
can't count. Yeah.
I never could see why people didn't get math because it was so precise. And all you had to do was memorize, like trigonometry or calculus or geometry. It was like, okay, first you do one, then you do two, then you do three, then you do four, and everything falls into place. And I never could understand people that couldn't get it. But then
Yeah.
again, I can't get music. There,
Oh,
there are
well,
people that say,
there
"Oh,
you
that
go.
note is higher than the note before." I say, "What? Wasn't that the same note?"
Yeah, that's exactly what I mean by that is someone can totally understand it. You just tell them, and they're like, "Oh, sorry." And then mostly with the older generation, it's just there's so much unlearning we need to do in our society, and it takes time. And while we don't necessarily really have the time, we have to have the time. So people can even just, I always suggest doing your own research if you can. It's not up to all the time for those people in those communities to be your educator. That's a lot of emotional labor, and they've been doing that for 20, 30, 40, 60 years of their life. Google exists now, so you can definitely Google things. Be conscious of the sources you use, though, is my biggest suggestion. Try to find things written by people in those communities. There is a book in relation to Native American Heritage Month called Indigenous Peoples' History in the United States. I believe it is written by someone who was indigenous. So things like that, trying to find books, articles, podcasts, that are written or hosted by people in those communities, and giving them that support.
Well, as a general, statement, people are afraid of the unknown, and the more you educate them, the better off we are. We.
Not
But
everybody's unafraid of the unknown. There, I think there are a lot of people that are just they're just open. They're just born open. They're born curious. They're born wanting to know more, find out more. I'm sure Callum is that way. Pretty
well,
sure
well,
you are, Malcolm. I know I am, and it's so we just have to just and you know what? It takes all kinds. So it's good that we all
but,
can be different but still together.
but anyway, guys, I hate to say it. Do you realize a half hour is up? And Callum, thank you very much for joining us. And I'm sure that you're going to be, if you want, a big part of our show.
Yep,
Remember,
I'm always happy to
yeah,
participate.
well, take a look at it. Aside from doing good, I find this fun. I enjoy meeting people, all sorts of people, and talking to them and extending, my knowledge to, a vast new world, like you were just saying, Yana. Some people are curious. I'm curious. I mean, that's why I do things. I don't necessarily prepare the show because I just have so many questions. When you say one thing, it triggers off 7 other questions for me.
Mhm.
But
Well,
anyway, guys,
we've got a good thing going, and I know a lot of people, and you know a lot of people, and Callum knows a lot of people. So
right,
I think we're going to be
and,
meeting a lot of people, and we want to meet a lot of young people.
right. And Callum, what you could do internally is let people know that we have the show. It's Malcolm and We, and it's exclusively on malcolmpresents.com. So all you do is go to malcolmpresents.com. It's on actually, it's the first show of my columns of the shows that I have. You just do that, you press that, and you see all the shows. And this show is going to be on forever, by the way. It's going to far exceed you. So you could tell your children or grandchildren, if you have whatever, all about the
Tell
show and your
Scooter
relatives.
about
I'm
it.
on. Anyway, guys, thanks a lot. And remember, you're listening to Malcolm and We on malcolmpresents.com.
We have to do this.
Oh, yeah. Well, I do it. You make, yeah,
This is where
me
we go from me
to we.
to we.
I mean, my fingers aren't that me to we.
Yep.
Anyway, guys, have a great week. See you next week. Bye bye.